We believe survivors. That's what they're saying in this protest. Ted Cruz was chased out of a restaurant by some protesters. Now, I want you guys to watch this video. I'm going to play it in its entirety, and then I'm going to comment afterwards. Okay? So check this out.
I'm a constituent. Love to know what your vote is going to be tonight. I know that you're very close friends with Mr. Kavanaugh. Do you believe survivors, sir? Please don't touch me. Do you believe in survivors? We believe survivors. We believe survivors. Senator, I have a right to know what your position is on Brett Kavanaugh.
God bless you, ma'am.
Bless you as well. I really appreciate you. I'm a survivor of sexual assault, ma'am. I believe all survivors. There are now 3 people who have come forward and who have said that Brett Kavanaugh has attacked them. I know that you're close friends with him. Did you talk to him about that? Did you talk to him about his position? How are you going to vote, sir?
Okay, here's my 2 cents that I'm gonna put in here. This has gotten completely out of control, and what needs to happen is that restaurants that support this nonsense, this madness, restaurants that attack Trump supporters should be put out of business. Why aren't anyone protesting these businesses? Protest them by not supporting them, by putting them out of business. Apparently they don't want our money, and they're allowing the people that patronize their businesses to be stalked and harassed. What needs to happen, and what might end up happening one day, is you're going to get maybe a veteran, or maybe somebody's going to come there that's armed, and they're just going to spray into the crowd of protesters. If that's what it takes to put this nonsense to a halt, then it needs to happen. Maybe it needs to happen that somebody would just spray into the crowd of protesters that's stalking and harassing people because they believe different. Now, this one female in there had the audacity to say, "Please don't touch me, please don't touch me," but yet you're stalking and harassing this man and his family. You're stalking and harassing this man and his family, but you're saying, "Please don't touch me." Another thing she says is, "We have a right to know where you stand. How do you vote?" That's not her business, how he votes. And he answered, well, all he said was, "God bless you, ma'am," and he moved on. But they stalked and harassed this man and his family, what needs to happen is someone needs to go up in there and maybe just spray into the crowd of protesters. And maybe then, just maybe then, it will wake them up not to stalk and harass people like this. And of course, if that happens, they're going to be the bad guy. They're going to be labeled as someone that have a mental issue. And then it's going to be a big issue of gun control. That's why they want gun control, so that they can pull this mess off. And you have no way of defending yourself. But again, what may need to happen is somebody need to start spraying into these crowds of protesters when they're stalking and harassing their families. I think that Trump supporters, Republicans, need to arm themselves. And when situations like this happen, and Ted Cruz, he shouldn't have had to say, "Let my wife through, please. Could you please let my wife through?" And now they're faulting men for someone else's action. I personally care less if you are a survivor, because we don't know the story. We know your side of the story, but we don't know what you did to put yourself in that situation. See, you have females that are prostitutes, or as they call themselves, what's that term they use for prostitution? Escorts. And while escorting, you have these dudes that will take advantage of them. And so now they're going to play the victim and say, no means no. Just because I'm prostituting my body, just because I'm escorting, just because I took my clothes off in front of a man does not give him the right to rape me. Well, that's like you standing inside a lion cage and you have a big, red, juicy, raw steak and you tie it to your thigh and you tell that lion, "Mr. Lion, you have no right to attack me just because I have this red, juicy, raw steak tied on my thigh. There's no reason why you have the right to attack me." And so you jump inside that lion's cage and he devour you. Whose fault is that? The lion? For just being a lion? So, but back to my topic. And of course, this is not going to be monetized. I already know that. So feel free to click the PayPal link button and financially support the channel. But what needs to happen is someone needs to start spraying into these crowds of protesters that's harassing people, that's not allowing this man and his family to go inside a restaurant and enjoy a meal. That's stalking and harassing. And especially these people that's got these whistles all in your face and you're trying to gain some, space between you two, and you got this person with this whistle in your face and just blowing it out of control. And you're trying to be nice. Well, maybe Ted Cruz should have came out of his jacket and just start shooting. That would get rid of them. And of course, Ted Cruz would be the bad person. But that's the world we're living in today. A satanic agenda. So feedback, tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm fearless.